Hey all, this is Blake here. If you might notice, for once I'm filming in the day, so it's pretty bright. I usually don't do this, but I feel I need to get this off my chest. I just found out they're making a Scream 4. Yeah, you see, now, the Scream movies aren't just other normal slashers to me. They were my generation slashers. You see, when somebody would see a Scream movie, and I think I was in middle school at the time, we'd think they were cool because our parents would never take us. And so I'd consider myself a fan of the trilogy, if not just for nostalgic purposes. But I thought the first Scream was a very well done movie. Had great twists, great characters, awesome sense of humor, really suspenseful scenes. It had really everything you'd want in a horror film, even though a lot of people didn't like it for its satire and the clones that it would spawn. Scream 2 I thought did a good job also. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't as well written. But for some reason the characters were more likable this time, even though they were just like at times cardboard cutout versions of the first ones. But I think it has to do with the actors pretty much being interesting, and Wes Craven does a good job too directing. Scream 3 never really did as much for me. It was an okay movie, but by that point it just felt like they'd ran out of steam, and they're just doing it for the money. So Scream 4. You see, the main difference between the Scream movies and every other slasher franchise ever made is that the Scream movies focus more on the victims than the killers. I mean, there's always the Ghostface killer, but really it's a different person playing the Ghostface killer each time, so you could only do so much with that. So it made sense that they'd ended after Scream 3, and I thought, even though it was the weakest entry of the series, it was a decent conclusion. So why are they now doing Scream 4? I mean, besides financial purposes, I was thinking, because apparently they're getting back the original cast and crew, like Neve Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox. But really, is that necessarily going to mean it's good? I mean, Neve Campbell, after the Scream movie, she pretty much vanished. I don't even know what she's been doing. David Arquette, last I saw, did some directed video. He only directed it, called Tripper, which is a slasher. And it was actually a pretty good movie, but still, he's not in major demand anymore. I don't even know what Courtney Cox has been doing since Friends. But, so really, it seems like these guys could all be in it just for the payday. Or for the, hopefully to have another big hit on their hands. Then with Kevin Williamson returning as the screenwriter, he was really an overrated screenwriter. I mean, he did the first Scream movie, and that was great. But then the script for Scream 2 wasn't as good, and it seemed like everything he did after that was just mediocre. I Know What You Did Last Summer, even though I think he wrote that before the first Scream. Teaching Miss Tingle, Cursed. And he just kind of went from the wonder writer to this really, really disgraced writer. Although he does, I guess, do that TV show, The Vampire Diaries, I believe. And that's a pretty big hit. But I haven't seen it. It looked too much like Twilight to me. And then you have Wes Craven. With Wes Craven, you really never know what to expect from him. For every good movie he does an amazingly bad one. Like, for every Hills Have Eyes, he did a Hills Have Eyes Part 2. And he produced both the Hills Have Eyes and the Hills Have Eyes Part 2 remakes. So, you never know. And even like when he did Nightmare on Elm Street, which is arguably his best film, that same year he came out with a crappy little film nobody remembers called Chiller. And he, like so many other directors, seems to have lost most of his creativity. For one, he's just remaking, or he's producing remakes of his older films. But, every director goes through it. When you think of Fulci, how bad he fell, and Dario Argento, he's going through it right now, John Carpenter. Especially in the horror genre, they'll eventually run out of creativity and just seem like they're doing crap versions of their older stuff. But when you think about it, even with the bigger guys like Spielberg, George Lucas, and Tim Burton, they're going through it too. But, so that's even more worrisome. When you think about it, what was Wes Craven's last directing effort that I saw? either Red Eye or Cursed. I don't know which one came out first. Cursed was notably bad, but that was the studio messed everything up there. And Red Eye was pretty much a very mediocre movie, and if you pay attention, the final act is just a rehash of a Scream movie. Just watch the way that the stalk and chase sequences are staged. It's just like Scream. And when you think about it, Scream was really kind of a rehash of New Nightmare. So, no real faith there. So, I mean, on one hand, it's cool that everybody's come back, but at the same time, I'm still worried. I mean, Wes Craven said, for example, that the script was really good, but at the same time, didn't he co-write the Hills Have Eyes Part 2 remake? I can't take that claim very seriously now. So what are they going to do with it? Well, what I'm really worried about is that they're going to kill off one of the main characters. Scream 2 killed off Randy, but I thought that was a pretty good death, even though a lot of people were pissed, including me. Cotton Weary died in Scream 3, and that was a pretty decent death. But what now? Are they going to kill off Sidney or any of the other two? It's just going to piss off a lot of people. And most likely, I'm wondering if this is going to be a spoof off that new genre of gore porn. That'll be kind of funny if the new Stab movies do that, but I hope Scream 4 doesn't do that. So let me know if you think Scream 4 should be made. Thanks for listening.